Hi students, Mr. Lane. Today we are going to build a bishop. And the bishop is the last piece I'm going to assist you with. Now, like the pawn and the rook, we are going to look up some sort of reference before we build whatever it is we're building. Find a bishop you like. Me personally, I do kind of like this one, but the one thing I do also like is that when it comes to all the pieces lined up, notice that the bishop is taller than your knight and your rook, and all the pieces are taller than the pawn, but the bishop is still shorter than the queen and shorter than the king. And I make mention of that because when you go to create your pieces and I go to grade it, I'm going to check to see if that's correct. My rook from yesterday was actually the same size as the pawn, so I had to fix that, which is why if you are following along in videos, you're like, Mr. Lane, something looks different. Yes, I changed the rook a bit. I actually made the little parapet smaller and raised the tower a little bit more. The other thing I'm looking for is consistency. Notice that we do have this little frill underneath the pawn and the rook, and the base is similar. I could have did something more fancy with the base, like put a little slice in it. Um, maybe I might do a little custom video just to show little things because there are a few things people are messing up, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's create our bishop. Now, the key things I'm going to look for uh, when I go to grade your bishop, I'm probably going to look for this shape, this like rounded egg shape. Probably going to look for this little ball that's usually found in the top of most bishops. It has the frill, so yours should have a similar frill as well. Oh, and the last thing, this cut. Notice how almost every bishop, there's a few exceptions like this one, but that little like gap is put into the chess piece. And that's what I'm going to be looking for um, when we do this. So that said, let's go back into Tinkercad. And yes, keep all your pieces in your file. Since we're creating a similar piece, I could start off with the rook and use that, or I could just use the pawn. Either works. Um, I'll go ahead and select the rook. I could duplicate it like I have been by pressing Control D, or again, the other way to do it is to just copy the piece first and then go back and paste it. And notice that this time when I paste it, that I have a duplicate and it offset it from the original piece. That's the one benefit of copying and pasting versus duplicating. Duplicating will put the object right exactly wherever you're replicating it from. But copying and pasting creates a second copy. You can tell that you definitely created a second copy. Anyway, once I have the second copy, I need to ungroup it. And to ungroup it, it's this button right here. As you can see, the shortcut is just Control Shift and G. So let's ungroup this. And we definitely now can tell that this has been ungrouped. I don't need this top half. I'm going to click off. So as you can see, when parts are selected, they're blue. So I'm going to click off and then click back on to select this one half. And I'm going to get rid of it by pressing delete. Oh, one thing before I press delete. If you ever have a piece that's like way out there and you're trying to line it up and it doesn't want to line up, remember, you can always select the piece in the distance, press the F key. Maybe it'll help you tumble around and see where it is compared to the other pieces. Second, you can always go to the top, scroll out if you want a scroll wheel, or you can use the minus sign over here, zoom out, and then move your piece where you need it. I think I've zoomed out too far. Let's see if we can, yeah. As you can see, you and I have problems doing that sometimes. So, but anyway, I don't know where it is. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I don't want this. Now, to create this top half, um, let's look at our bishop again. There are many different shapes. I do like this shape, and I'll show you why I like this shape. Look, I know you guys like doing things the fast and easy way. Yes, I could get a sphere, and then I could get a cone, and then yes, I could raise it up, and line them both up. Down, aligned. I mean, technically, that would be one way to do it. And then yes, I could group it. If I pay closer attention to numbers, I probably could figure out how to get this to match perfectly. But like I said, I know you guys like the nice and easy way. So other than that, there are a few other shapes you can use. One like this paraboloid that has a nice rounded curve on the top. You could technically take two of these. Squish one of them and squish this one. Another way to do it, I think looks even better. I don't want to have to always stick to the basic shapes. I do have all these menus that are available to me. For instance, if I look at the characters, and we scroll down, we'll see that we have this egg shape. And while we pull it out, it is humongous. I can always hold down Alt and Shift to reduce the size. So it all things the computer's messing up. To duplicate, you can always hold Alt like in Photoshop and it'll duplicate it, but that's not what we want. So I only need one. I'm holding Alt and Shift to reduce the size. I don't like that snap. So let's reduce that. Okay. Before I line this up and raise it up, remember the bishop has to be taller. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to raise this. I'm going to both raise them. Zoom in so I don't grab the neck just yet. So raise it so I know my destination. I want this taller than the one over here on the book. So I'm going to grab the body. I'm looking for this white square. I'm going to raise this up again to go through it. And before I even group this and put this into place, look at our bishop. One thing you'll notice about the bishop, the little like frill that's always near the bottom of all the pieces. On the bishop, it's more pronounced than any other piece. There's probably some sort of historical reason for it that I'm not aware of. If you know it, hey, send me a message. Let me know. Tell your friends. I'm curious. Anyway, back to our piece here. Because that piece is so pronounced, I will go out of the way. Actually, I'm going to shrink this bottom one. I'm going to take this top one. First, I'm going to make it a little bigger, and then I'll lower it down. If you don't like the snapping, you can always turn to off. And that way, just smoothly move it in place. And actually, I'm going to select both again. And while holding Alt and Shift, I'm going to grab a corner and make it even a little larger. And the reason why I want it a little larger, again, to make it as more pronounced than the other parts and pieces. So now I'm going to take my egg shape and drag it up. I'm going to change the perspective to orthographic because I want to be like, I want this straight on. I don't want to see any kind of strange distortion. I wonder if I got it right. Put this right over here. Select all my parts and pieces. Press the letter L so I know it's not perfectly aligned. I'm going to go back to perspective view. And right now, the head of that looks like it's floating, which is not what we want. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to lower it so it touches. Notice that the cone, little black arrow, is at the bottom at the moment. That's fine. I'm going to use it to drag it downward. So far, so good. Just so I don't accidentally start merging parts with the rook, I'm going to click on this rook and put it over here by the pawn. So if you've been having problems, feel free to move it around. You don't have to have the pieces right next to each other. Give yourself room to breathe. Anyway, I now have my egg shape. I don't have any extra properties to smooth that out, which kind of bums me out a bit, but that's fine. I will go back to the basic shapes and get a sphere. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want that little bulb that's like on the top of every bishop. So shrink this down. Raise this up. This over. And again, if you're not sure you got it right, change from perspective to what's called orthographic. Orthographic view doesn't have any real vanishing point. Everything looks all flat. It's definitely more precise. But don't be afraid to use it. I know it looks a little funny at times because the reality of it is that when we look at things, we don't see things like this. Like, for instance, if I have an object in front of me, it should look closer or larger. Like so. Anyway, we have almost all the parts and pieces right here. I'm going to select everything right there and hit Control G to group it. The only thing we need is that little cut that I mentioned here. So I'm going to put this cut in our bishop. And it's easy, it's relatively easy. Um, what we can do simply, pick a box. We can make it super, super skinny. You don't have to resize it. It helps if you resize it to the shape. You don't have to, though. Raise it up. Then I'm going to look for this rotation arrow at the top and rotate it. I'm going to rotate mine by 45 degrees. Once I do that, my shape, lower it down. Now from this side that looks like a little bit too much, so I will pull it outward. No, I'll go. It's not gonna be that far. I'm probably gonna make this shorter, but I'm gonna select my bishop and that little hole. Hit Control G to group. There you go. Here's a cut. That's the bishop. So when you make your pieces, again, don't just limit yourself to the basic shapes. You can use the basic shapes. I know some of my other students, they found other ways to come up with similar things. I know there's a shape where you can create like the taper. I'm not gonna tell you once you can find it, but it's there. And when you are done building your bishop, again, I'm tasking you with creating the king, the queen, and finally the knight. And yes, do realize the knight is tough. It is not an easy piece. In fact, well, I'll tell you what. Maybe in another video I'll show you my knight. But for now, that's your project. That's what I want you to work on. So, yes, I'm using the Peter Parker login. Um, that's it, guys. That's what you have to do for the rest of this week, and maybe a little bit of the next. I know this. I know these next three pieces are a little tough, especially the night. So don't panic. Don't worry. Just get it done. Have fun with it. All right. All right. Until then, I'll see you next time. Talk to you later. Love you.